So in every story that I actually remember, like I'm sure in the existence of stories, there's always a hero and a villain, right? And if you are your hero in your brand story, then you need to ensure that you have your villain, right? You need to have a common villain or a common enemy who is standing in the way of your branding journey of what that looks like. And I always talk about the importance of your campaign brand, right? And that is the whole idea of what your campaign looks like. Your campaign needs to be a narrative, it needs to be a story, it needs to evoke emotion, it needs to be able to allow people to understand who you're for and who you're against, right? And that is the whole idea of being able to build a revenue generating brand, because you are then able to build a tribe and a community of like-minded people who agree with what you have to say, and they actually vouch for you as someone that is actually speaking from a position and a place that they can relate to and resonate with, and they co-sign as well. So in this video, I'm going to explain the reasons as to why you need to have a common villain or a common enemy within your brand story in order to develop that into a revenue generating brand. And for those who don't know me, my name is Tariq Peters. I am a brand authority strategist, and I'm also an accredited PR practitioner. And I work with fractional CFOs and independent finance leaders to build their level of brand authority. And brand authority is your personal brand multiplied by your business brand, multiplied by your campaign brand. When you have those three brands aligned, that gives you a level of brand authority that makes you more visible and credible to your desired target audience. And that will allow you to drive more leads into your business. And in turn, that will get you more clients and ultimately more revenue for your business, right? So if you are interested in all things branding, marketing, and PR, then please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And also click in the description box down below and check out my Substack, as I post content on there on a weekly basis. And I also upload one long form video every single day. So whether you prefer to watch my content or whether you prefer to read it, I have so much content there. I'm sure that there'll be something for you. So feel free to check it out. So if you've been building a brand, right, and you feel that it hasn't necessarily started to connect, or you haven't really started to build a community of like-minded people who are immersed in your world and your ecosystem, it could just be down to the fact that you're too nice. You're too nice. You don't necessarily have a opposition, or you don't particularly have someone or something that is in the way of what it means of you developing your brand. And that is something that we need to consider as something that is extremely important if we are looking to create a memorable brand, especially one that becomes a revenue generating brand in due course, right? And it's all based on the idea that not everyone is going to like you, right? Not everyone's going to like you. That's the first fact that we need to establish, right? Before I even continue. Not everyone is going to like you in the process. However, that is perfect, because you are not here to be liked by everyone. You are not building a brand to be liked by everyone and for everyone to be your friend. It is not that sort of game. You are building a brand based on your passion points, your interests, your the things that you're for and against, all the things that make you uniquely you, as I always mention. That is dedicated to you, and that is personal to you. You are doing it in a way where you are able to attract the right people into your ecosystem and repel any of those sort of people who are just not aligned for you, or just doesn't fit your sort of mission or your sort of ethos of what you believe your life needs to be like regarding building a brand, right? And you know, I'm saying this from the perspective of someone who was always at some stage people pleasing and wanted to be liked by everyone. So, like I say, all these videos come from a perspective of unlearning and just getting to the position of where I'm at now in terms of understanding what actually makes a personal brand effective in order to convert that into a revenue generating brand, right? And in the grand scheme of things, if you are looking to really solidify your brand as something that people remember and that people relate to and that people actually want to purchase from you based on your brand alone, you need to ensure that you are able to provide that story detailing not only your why, but detailing what are the things within the world that you are building that people are against. Who is that opposition? And that person or that thing, sorry, doesn't necessarily need to be a person. It doesn't necessarily need to be a person. However, it can be the sort of way of the world or the way of your industry or something that doesn't necessarily align or connect with you. If we're talking about my brand, right? My brand and my sort of enemy or my common villain for the way that I built my brand is the idea of fear, right? The idea of fear not allowing people to live up to their true potential and their level of growth, and allowing fear to stop them from living the life that they're meant to live. And not only the idea of fear, but the underlying infrastructure of the system that was put in place that has made people just scared to do things, make people scared to just try new things. They're scared to look silly, or they're scared to just not get the sort of accolades that they felt they would have got in the process, or just all the things that make people feel stuck on the basis that they're too scared to take action. That is the common enemy for me. That is the villain. So whether that comes in the form of a person or a sort of institution, that is my enemy, 100%. And that is something that I scream about often, because I always talk about the fact that fear had me in a chokehold so bad, where there were so many things that I wouldn't do, or I felt like I couldn't do because I was too scared to do it. And it only really took me to do skydiving for me to then realize that, wow, this is life changing stuff. And it made me realize the importance of the one life that we have, and we just need to give it a good go no matter what, because ultimately we only have the one life, man. You know what I mean? And with that, that is my main driver towards everything that I've been working on and everything that I've been preaching about when it has come down to the idea of building a brand. And like I said, a brand is not there for vanity metrics. We don't believe in vanity metrics in this channel. So when I talk about the branding, I'm talking about the idea of you developing a level of brand authority, right? That's developing not only your personal brand, but your business brand and your campaign brand. How are you able to incorporate those brands in your journey? And if you think you can build a brand that is going to last, right, and have that level of longevity, and you don't have a particular sort of notion that there are the opposition or the oppressors in that sense that are stopping your brand, your common enemy, your common villain, it's going to be a lot more harder for you to build your brand off the back of it. It just doesn't have any story to it. It doesn't have any story to it except the fact that you post a couple posts here and there. What is the underlying mission as to why you are so committed to the cause of building your brand and getting it to the stage where you're looking to get it to? And in one of my previous videos, right, I spoke about the actual exercise that I've done with myself and many of my clients in terms of how you are able to develop your why as to why you are building a brand in the first place. So, through my explanation as to who my common enemy is, or the common villain within my sort of branding story, that was all developed off of the back of me understanding my why, going through all of the sort of main components in my life from the earliest memory to the present day, and looking at all the things that really connected the dots and how it aligns with my brand, and all the things that shifted my mindset or my perspective on different things, and also the things that I felt was effectively slowing me down, or making me feel small in this world. All the things that didn't necessarily have a positive impact within my life, I then repositioned that as the common villain and common enemy in my brand story. And then through that, you will then realize that through me speaking about this and me reinforcing this in my content, when I'm working with people, when I'm speaking, when I'm at different events and I'm showcasing my personality and showcasing my brand as someone who doesn't tolerate anything or anyone that wants to be bringing fear into the lives of other people for them not to be able to live their best versions of their life. That is the thing that has kept me going, and that continues to keep me going, because you can see that I'm passionate about this stuff. I'm so passionate about this stuff because there's far too many people who have the talents and the skills, but it's their mindset that has trapped them. And it may not be any fault of their own, but it's they need to be the one to eradicate that fear in whatever way they feel is most appropriate for them. So with that, that is the thing that's kept me going. And then the more that I put my brand out there and the more that I reinforce that, the more that people who understand that will naturally gravitate towards me. And those who feel that what I'm saying doesn't relate, or it doesn't make sense, or it doesn't sort of align with their point of views, that's completely fine. What I say and what I do on my channel that may not necessarily resonate with everyone. And that's completely fine, because like I said, I know who is for me and who is against me. And in that idea of that, I am able to build a brand and reinforce that idea to then understand who or what is the common enemy, who is then opposition that I need to be able to deal with in the pursuit of building my brand in real time as well. And the more you do that, the more you just get to the point where you are able to develop a following of people who co-sign what you're doing and they vouch for you because they know that you're doing it with the best of intentions. All of my videos, I do it with the best of my intention to provide as much value as I can in order to help you build your brand and in order for you to help develop the skills to continue to refine and turn it into a revenue generating brand. All these videos, that's what I do it for. And it all comes down to me understanding not only my why as to why I do it, but also understanding who is the common enemy or the common villain or the common threat within my ecosystem, and what I need to do in order to ensure that those who are involved with the work that I'm doing or who subscribe to my channel, if that's you, thank you. If you're not subscribed, but you like what I have to say, subscribe, please. And ultimately, just knowing what I need to do day in and day out to make sure that everything that I do aligns with me, making sure that the enemy never gets a chance to shine, because we are not about the idea of not allowing us to be the best versions of ourselves, right? And all of us can do it, because I started from the place, like I said, of having fear keep me stuck, right? And now I'm in a position where I've gone over that through just being uncomfortable and just getting the work done and just doing the things that initially scared me. I'm now just trying to help as many people as feasibly possible to also realize that they can also do the same and no longer be caught in the trap that they've effectively put themselves in through their mindset. You know what I mean? So with that, that's it for this video. My main important thing for you is to make sure that if you are building a brand that has that level of longevity, your brand can't be a brand that is liked by every single person. It's impossible. And if that's the case, that's great, but it's not going to get you the sort of brand that you want that will last in a way that will allow you to continue to build and grow and build a community of people who are there for you and not just there for the sake of it, right? So on that note, please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you tomorrow. Peace out. Look after yourself. Look after.